Alrighty, so hopefully this is working now. What's up, guys? Welcome back. My name is Mason Dupree. This is sort of a short form video series where I share kind of what I'm learning as I'm going through sort of a marketing career and trying to build my own business as well as some other things. And I want to kind of share value. That's kind of my thing. And actually today, what I really want to talk about is building a personal brand. And I think, how do you go about doing that? And, really the short answer is great content, right? So I do my best to try and provide value in these videos. I try to share little tips that are actionable and things like that. And again, only from my experience. So I guess really the first fatal flaw that I think people make and that I've made in the past when it comes to building a personal brand is going out and regurgitating content. I really don't want to do that, to the best of my ability, because it's embarrassing. Like if you were to go watch an Alex Hormozi video and then come back on your YouTube channel and share the same things he said, what are you doing that's new? What are you doing that's actually really providing value? Maybe you're disseminating it in a way, but that's negligible. So what I really want to focus on is great content, because that is what will build a strong personal brand over time. Why do I want to build before I go too deep into how to build a personal brand, why build a personal brand? And from a marketing perspective and from a business owner perspective, if you are not building a personal brand, first off, the earlier the better. But if you haven't started, the longer it will take to get to the point where it's actually going to start to produce value for you in your life. And so you better start today as opposed to the other day. It's sort of like investing, the earlier the better. And every little video, every piece of content, every little, additional tip you can share, and if you keep value high, the better you'll perform with a longer period of time, right? But personal brands are so valuable in that, if you're a marketer right now and you run ads, you have to run ads because you don't have anyone to market to, right? You don't have a list, you don't have followers or a following or anything like that. So you have to pay for the eyeballs. Whereas these content platforms, in exchange for your time and producing valuable, interesting content, give you viewership, right? And then they find ways to provide you, routes of monetization through those. I think a lot of people start out a little too early, a little too concerned with it, like with pay. And I'll give you some examples of how I'm kind of doing this on both X and YouTube. But once you have decided that building a personal brand is incredibly valuable, and I think it is, there's a lot of people in my life directly near me, not just one, but a couple in particular, who have developed brands in very different ways with super niche markets or super big, broad markets, right? And you can see the benefits and just their ability to have opportunities come their way. When you are someone of influence and you have a following and thought leadership, opportunities start to come your way, not only in the routes of sponsorships, but in collaborations and all kinds of things like that, which can only exponentially help your personal brand and your growth, right, in your plans. So for me, it's like, get started early, do it. The worst that happens is I just embarrass myself on this camera. And the best case, I can go look back and see, sort of my route and see where I've grown. And I know, it's being New Year's, it's January 2nd now that I'm recording this. You will see this probably up later. But, if you're thinking about growth in the new year and all that stuff, being able to look at where you've been and where you've come, or where you are now is such a big benefit. I mean, I watch videos that I've recorded like this that have never been posted, that I recorded, 2023 to early 2024. And that last year between 2020, like January, December of 2023, all the way up to like July, was the hardest I'd ever worked on my own business, my own agency. The hardest I'd ever worked on anything. The most risk I'd ever taken, the biggest swing I'd ever taken at business in general. And I'll tell you, Alex Hormozi, not to regurgitate content too much, says you'll never kind of regret it. He's like, launch those ads, you won't regret it. And I looked back prior to that experience, before 2023 of January, December, and I never did regret launching any of the campaigns I ever did, profitable or not profitable, right? So you learn a lot through doing, the most through doing. And so when I started building the brand, when I went balls to the wall, did everything I possibly could to try and make this work. I mean, blood, sweat, and tears. Like, I learned so much in that short period of time. I almost hate the fact that I'm working at an agency now, because while it does give me comfort, that comfort is taken away from the ability to learn. And the rate at which I had learned in that time was insane compared to now. I do wish I was in a better opportunity to sort of have more information shared with people who are kind of on my level. I think that's an opportunity I'm missing right now. I'm not surrounded by marketers of my age who are also learning. And I think that would be really beneficial. And through a personal brand, you would build those connections with people who are also going through the same path, who are also documenting their path, sharing things that they've learned, and you sharing things that you've learned, and sort of aggregating the knowledge, right, to be successful. And so, personal brands have a lot of different ways of providing value. Both in the monetization sense, sponsor, right? If you ever want to sell a product, you don't have to pay for eyeballs. It gives you sort of a moat. I mean, it's almost equity. No one can really take your personal brand from you, you know what I'm saying? Unless you cancel yourself, right? Which is possible. But, there's a lot of strength in having that moat of a personal brand behind you. It makes a lot of your business adventures 10 times easier to start. And, I think that there's an incredible amount of value behind it. So then how do you build a personal following? Well, I think what really matters first is good content. And then it's, how do you perform well on that platform? What are the things you need to do to make that good content and make it approachable? For example, I could have the best content in the world on YouTube, but if the camera was terrible and the mic sucked, no one would pay attention to it. I'd get no watch time, right? I mean, yeah, the real diehards would probably struggle through, terrible pixels and awful audio to get the value, if there's value there. But it makes it 10 times harder for people to discover the value, right? So having good camera, good audio, I think those are things that make a big difference on YouTube. And then good content, a genuine approach to actually, content as opposed to monetization and getting eyeballs and paid. And, I do have that focus on other platforms like on X, but really it's about growing a following on there. And I just kind of picked a target, which is the monetization bar, which is 5 million impressions over 3 months. That roughly is about 50,000 impressions a day. And I have an account with 380 some followers. And of that, 49 of them are verified followers. I'm X premium verified or whatever, so I get shoved up to the top of the comments. I find big pages, I post a good take, or at least what I hope is a good take, under big accounts very early, and that gives you a ton of impressions. I keep breaking my impression record day over day over day. I think it snowballs to an extent. I can't say that with as much confidence, just because I haven't really seen the data for too long. I've only really been doing this for 2.5 weeks really. But I mean, my impressions are I hit 16,000, I think yesterday. I'm gonna break that tomorrow or today, in a day, right? And that's almost 2/5 of the way there to having the daily impressions needed over 3 months to then get monetized on a platform that I already spend a lot of time on and love, right? So that's kind of the reason, that I'm chasing growth there, and I'm doing different things there than I would be here. So like I said, figuring out what works on that platform and using it, the algorithm, whatever you want to call it, just to get you good engagement and sharing that good content in the right way that makes it approachable. And yeah, I think also recycling content to an extent is a good strategy, and I might try to employ that here, taking these, cutting them into vertical reels and then posting them. But what I really also want to focus on is sort of the 80-20. I want to provide good value. I think if I had a conversation with someone, I could share a lot of expertise that people would find valuable. However, I don't want to spend a crap ton of time dressing it up when, the value's good. I don't need to dress it up. I can just kind of put it out into reels and put those reels out. It's kind of a shotgun approach. People who care about it, will like it, they'll come back, right? The people who don't, they don't. And honestly, that's not the target market anyway, right? So just move on. 80-20, not really low effort, but good content and high leverage is really the focus. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at with the, I've decided I need to build a personal brand for the reasons I've shared before. And now I'm really figuring out how to do that and being smart about it. That way I can kind of give myself the longest runway, make it easy to be consistent, right? Which I think are all things that are really critical to building the followership, the viewership that you're looking to get in the end, right? And again, this is sort of a practice of self-discipline, which I'm kind of excited about as well. I've done this before. I've started a YouTube channel. I've had pie in the sky ideas of where that was going to go, and obviously it didn't. But I didn't stay consistent. I didn't really produce that great of content. I didn't share new ideas or my own experiences. And so there's a lot of things that I'm doing differently that I think are really going to impact the success of this next venture. I'm older, I'm wiser, and I'm more successful and know more. So I think this new swing is going to be good. But yeah, those are my thoughts on kind of the value of a personal brand and kind of how to start building one. I'll let you guys know how it's going, and I'll keep you guys up to date. If you are interested in growing on X, let me know. I'd love to follow you guys there, and I'll follow you back. Always comment, like, all that stuff. That always helps push this video in particular on YouTube. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you guys so much.